Okay, dope, 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 dope. Okay, we're live. We're live. We're live. Okay. Are you guys, you can hear me and see me okay? Anthony, you're able to hear me and see me okay, right?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I see you perfectly. I think everything is all set up and ready.
Dope, 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 man. We're definitely excited to have you on board this evening. And bring you to the community and drop some, priceless game. Pretty sure a lot of people are going to get some extraordinary value tonight. This movement was just created towards business owners to help them take their business to the next level. Just give them a lot of resources and tools, as far as like financial advice, personal credit, business credit, help them get approved for funding, grants, or what have you. Marketing, sales, different things of that nature. And I felt like you would be the perfect guest to bring on board to speak to the community because you've literally been able to transform so many different businesses, right? I've seen you take people from zero to having 6-figure months, not years. A lot of people wish they could get to like 100,000 a year. You help people do that in 1 month. So that's super impressive. And also for your age, I think you're only like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah, 24, and like in about a week from now, I'll be 25. Yeah, man. So I definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate anybody that's looking to build a community. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the communities that I've joined. Like you were saying earlier, a lot of people, they dream of doing 6 figures a year. I remember the community I joined, this guy named Joel Kaplan. I don't know if you ever heard of Joel Kaplan before by chance. Yeah, doesn't have like a huge name or anything, but at the time, do you know what an appointment setting is by chance?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So for the people who don't know what appointment setting is, all it is just like exactly what it sounds like. You're coming in, it's like a junior sales position, and you're logging into some type of CRM, like a customer relationship management software, where you can just pull up people's emails or phone numbers or first and last names and see information about prospects for a business. So I got into this whole entire online game as like an appointment setter for one of my boys. I was just setting up appointments on his Instagram account, on his DMs, and then what ended up happening was I got really good at just setting up appointments that he started letting me get on some of these phone calls. And at the time, he owned a marketing agency for e-commerce brands. So yeah, I started just taking a bunch of sales calls for him. I brought in my own deals, brought in about like 90% of my own deals, all through Instagram DMs, through just messaging people on his account, pretending to be him as like basically I called it like a social closer. Right. This is about 2 or 3 years ago at the peak of COVID. But what ended up happening was I never had the mindset around, hey, like if I'm bringing in all these deals, my goal at the time was like, yeah, I want to make 6 figures a year. And that was my goal at the time. I was still in college when I was setting up these appointments and taking sales calls. And, I ended up getting a 6-figure job offer over at, you ever heard of Boeing before?
Yeah,
Boeing.
yeah. They make the plane parts, right?
Exactly. They make all the plane point parts and everything. So during the time when I was setting up these appointments for him and closing these deals, I also had an internship over at Boeing in their HR department for total rewards. So when you're in the HR department, you're able to see, everybody's earning potentials. So I'm seeing my own earning potentials for the next 3 or 4 years. And although it was a 6-figure job offer, next 5, 6, maybe even 8 years, I'm only going to be getting like a 1-2% salary increase. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm trying to make some millions before then. Like I thought 6 figures. So when I was doing the setting and closing for that guy with the agency, I got really good at it. And by the time that it was time to go ahead and take that job offer, I was making more money than the job was even offering me, and I was working half the amount. Right, that job was gonna be 40 hours a week. I was probably only working about 15 hours a week, setting up appointments, closing deals with Instagram, and so I ended up turning down that job offer. But I was so content with making 10K a month. Like it was like, all right, cool, I'm making 10K a month. I'm only about like 21 at the time. It was going very, very well. And then I went out to this mastermind event. That guy, Joe Kaplan, I was saying, the guy whose agency I was working with, he invited me out to a mastermind event out in Tulum. And I was like, oh shoot, okay, cool. I've never been to one of these things. I get out there to Tulum and I realize, wait a minute, 10K a month is nothing. All these guys I'm around, they're all the same age as me too as well, but these guys are making 300K a month online, 500K a month online. And they're telling me, Anthony, why are you working for this guy? Why don't you just start your own agency? You know, you brought in all the deals, you're closing left and right, you know how to do appointment setting, closing, generating leads and scaling sales team. Why are you working for this guy? So sometimes it takes you being around someone else to see your potential. You know, that was one of my biggest lessons learned from that event. I wasn't even thinking that way. And I truly think that, you know, a lot of people can think and grow rich. Everything starts with a thought. But if you're only getting the thoughts from people that have broke mindsets, people blaming the recession for the reason why they're not making money online, but they weren't making money online even before the recession, you know, you have to protect your energy and everything. So once I got around people that were doing bigger numbers and doing greater things from these mastermind events, that's when everything truly unlocked for me. So I know I talked a lot there, but when you said about masterminds, that really struck like a memory.
No, that's dope. That's definitely exciting story for sure. My question is, what exactly type of deals were you closing for that other guy? Like,
Yeah,
what were you,
yeah. So this kind of goes back into like getting exposed to stuff. Sometimes y'all gotta get exposed, getting in the room, like being a part of communities like this. This is you already getting exposed to information. So this guy that I was setting up these appointments for and closing deals for, this guy was like 19 at the time. And
yeah,
I didn't even know these transactions were happening online. He was selling
yeah,
a $4,000 agency offer just to run some Facebook ads for some people. And I first saw him do it where I set up an appointment. They closed the deal for $4,000. I was like, wait, man, you just made $4,000? What the heck? He's like, yeah, bro, I close about three of these a day. I got exposed to that. I didn't even know that type of money was being transferred online. I got exposed to it. So that's when I was like, all right, well, let me try to take some of these calls myself. And there was so many people, I was a little bit worried because the first call that I ever had, it was with this large 7-figure e-commerce brand in the clothing niche. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to close this person. I don't know much about e-com. And then I closed the deal for them. I locked him in on a 3-month contract for 5K. So that was a 15K deal. And then at the time, my commission structure was 25%. So the first deal I ever made, I already made about $4,000 just off of that one phone call I took as a closer for him.
wow. So the reason I even want to ask you that question is because, you know, a lot of people, they're launching their new businesses or what have you. And a lot of people, you hear it all the time. They're scared of sales. They're like, I'm not a good salesman or what have you.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like it's a double-edged sword with it. Whereas it's like, for one, helping people understand that you know, you can have a high ticket product to sell. And then for two, like you say, you came straight in, you sold that high ticket product and made a good commission.
Yeah.
Helping people understand that, you know, it's definitely something that can happen. You know,
Yeah.
it's not that hard. It's not that difficult to really, you know, reach underneath that threshold.
Yeah. I've never, this is me personally, I've never met someone that is having success as an entrepreneur that it's not dialed in on sales, right? Or even in life, you got to sell yourself. You got to sell your ideas. You got to sell that date to get that girl or that guy. Everything kind of comes all back to sales. But some people, they are quote unquote, you know, more gifted and born when it comes down to having sales ability. One moment, just give me 1 second. I have a little Shih Tzu that keeps on crying at the door. Give me one moment.
Cool. Okay, guys, type some fire in the chat if you're getting any value so far. You know, this guy here is literally took a lot of businesses from 0 to 6 figures, you know, some even 7-figure businesses. So you definitely want to have your notepad out and take notes on what he's about to drop.
Appreciate you. Yeah, just
Absolutely.
that's that little dog. He'll cry all night. But yeah, a lot of people, they're not born salesmen, but a lot of times people think that they need to be high pressure and be super extroverted to close deals and everything. But in reality, like some of the best closers, people best at sales that I've seen have been actually introverted. because sales is not really about speaking, it's about listening, right? And it's about getting the right answers out of people. So usually when people listen more, they're actually better at sales. But when I first got into it, with closing for that agency, I did spend a summer before that. My previous internship was with a marketing agency, and I drove all around Atlanta selling dental marketing services. So I would go door to door to only Black-owned dental dentistries, right? So I went door to door for about 4 months, and I never even got one yes. I never even got one booked appointment, nothing at all. People would just kind of laugh at me or just say like, no, we don't want that. I spent 4, maybe even 6 months doing that, and getting all those no's and everything, but it never discouraged me. But one thing I did notice was I never really had the information. I didn't have the info. I never really read any books when I was trying to do it. I didn't invest into myself. So once I started investing in myself and learning more about how to do the skill, that's where things started to change. And I used to tell myself I'm terrible at sales. And now, I lead a whole entire sales agency, and I have a whole entire sales team, about like 8 different closers underneath our belt right now.
Dope. So that's definitely pretty impressive. So if it's one tip you can give people on like some of the knowledge that you was able to learn about sales, what would you say is the first step of getting over?
That's a good one. I would say a lot of people, they don't have enough reps, right? Sales is kind of like playing basketball. The more shots you put up, then the better you're going to be. You're going to get at basketball. It's the same thing for sales. Also, when you have those games, we can go back to the Super Bowl that was last week. We can think about the Chiefs and the Eagles. What are the Eagles going to do now that they lost the game? They're going to go back and they're going to watch their game footage, their game film. So if you are someone that takes sales calls or maybe Zoom meetings where you're trying to close deals and everything, a lot of times I see people, they don't even go back and review their game film. So I would say repetitions, reviewing your game films, that would already get you ahead of the game like 10 times. And then also tracking your KPIs, knowing how many appointments you're taking, knowing all your metrics, but it's definitely a game of just putting up the shots and watching the film.
Dope. Okay, cool. Okay, so now let's backtrack it a little bit, because you said something about book calls or what have you. In order to actually make the sale, you got to actually have the call. Before you can do the call, you got to actually attract the person to get on the call with you. So how would you say what has changed in the marketplace as far as like content and lead generation versus when you first got started versus now?
I would say more people have caught on to game, right? Back then, about, I'm not talking like I'm 50 years old, right? But things have changed drastically in the last, 2, 3, 4 years, right? People back then, they didn't really know about appointment setters. So they didn't really know, like, you can just go inside of DMs or go inside like on LinkedIn profiles, Instagram and stuff, and just send out outreach messages and stuff, right? Also back then, when I was really doing this too as well, there wasn't a limit either. A few years ago, you could send out as many outreach messages and stuff and do as many settings. So I would say the biggest thing is just quality over quantity, right? You're very limited on these platforms when it comes down to reaching out to people, trying to get more booked appointments. You got to have your stuff pretty dialed in and tapped. And if you're not tracking your KPIs and knowing, okay, which outreach message is working the best, how am I even getting these bookings, then you're not going to win here in 2023. But that's really the main difference. Things still work and everything. You just have to like lead with more value and just be super genuine, right? Be really, really genuine when trying to set up those appointments.
Gotcha. I feel you. So, because a lot of people probably had bad experiences with, trying to do it the old way and things are changing or what have you.
Yeah, the market's changing. Yeah.
What would you say is how would you compare like running cold ads versus like outreach and programs that gaining leads more organically?
Yeah. Cold ads, they're very good. What I like to do is, like, if you're thinking about running like paid media for your business, there's something called the Facebook ad library. So if you go onto Google and you type in Facebook ad library, it'll pull up a library of all of your competitors, and you'll be able to see, one, if they're running ads, which two, that's going to give you the information that you need to know that it has proof of concept. a lot of new entrepreneurs and new business owners, what they do is they're very prideful in creating something that is not even in the market at all. I like to just copy what's working. I'm a copycat. I'm the most proudest copycat out there on the market, right? I don't like to reinvent the wheel, because if I see something that's actively working right then and there, then that's already proof of concept. That means it can sell. So if you're in a saturated market, for example, that just means there's a lot of money in the market, right?
Yeah.
That means there's a lot of money in the market. But as far as cold ads, one, you want to make sure that if you are going to run paid ads, just try to see if there's a competitor out there that's actively running ads for your offer by going into the Facebook ad library, typing in that competitor's name, and it'll be able to pull up a Rolodex of paid ads, and you'll be able to see, okay, this person's actually been running the ads. And it's also going to show you how long they've been running the ads too as well. So if someone's only been running ad campaigns for a month, then that means to me that they haven't cracked the codes on it, on those ad campaigns. But if someone's been running ads for the last 6 months, 7 months, or some of my friends are running the same ad for the last 3 years. I shot an ad last year, brought in an extra $1 million in revenue for our business. Let me make sure that I'm not freezing here.
Nah, you're not freezing on my end.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I shot an ad last year, brought in an extra $1 million in revenue. I got a little bit spoiled. I just literally put up the ad and just started just putting more money towards it. People would see the ad, they would swipe up on it, it would automatically book somebody, and then they'll hop on with my sales team closes the deal. Then I have a client success manager, onboards the client. It was just about automated, right? That's the power behind paid media. Now, not everybody can afford paid ads. And that's the problem that we wanted to attack in the market. Not everyone can afford to spend, thousands of their hard-earned dollars on paid ads just to test. Because I truly believe that marketing, all it is strategic testing. So when you partner up with like a marketing agency, for example, you're really just paying for the data that they have in-house. There was a point in time we were spending about $1 million every single month and managing that all on paid ads. So some of the data that we have in-house is like, we have a lot of data around credit repair businesses, business funding businesses, because on the back end, we already know all the audiences. We've already spent a bunch of money, so we don't have to test as much. But that's what you're really getting when you partner with a marketing partner. But a lot of times, all it is strategic testing. So if you have more of a unique niche, a unique offer, there's not as much proof of concept, then what ends up happening is that partner, they're just going to have to do a lot of strategic testing. And if you don't have the right capital, like most new businesses have, then you're going to miss out, because you're going to just go through a few $1,000 and now you're like, oh, okay, well, it didn't work on the paid ad side. So if you don't have thousands of dollars, and I wouldn't even play around with paid ads, I would try to go the organic route, which what I love about organic marketing is, one, it's most of the time organic is free, right? You're just making content, you're doing outreach, lower overhead. And, that's how we scaled our agency, was all through organic marketing. Before we ran those paid ads, we were doing about $60,000 a month consistently. Not 1 month, not 2, but 3+ months, just pulling in $60K a month, all organically, no ads, just either word of mouth, or we're just sending out DMs and getting people to book a call.
Dope. Okay, now let's fast forward a little bit. Let's say a person, they got a good offer, right? Boom, they launch, right? They got a good system, organic reach going on, content, they start generating sales. So I understand that it's the difference between automation and delegation. So as your business starts growing, you got to decide what you want to delegate and what you want to automate. You start speaking about once the person reaches that stage of actually, scaling and
Yeah. So I love sales, right? I'm gonna be talking about sales a lot, right? That's something that I know a lot about, right? So what ends up happening is a lot of founders, it goes back to what you were saying earlier, how some people just don't think they're the best at sales, or they're not good at sales. So they want to start early in the game. They'll end up saying, hey, I don't want to take my own sales calls. I want someone else to take these sales calls. I like to say, hey, if you can't sell it yourself, no one else will. So too many people in the beginning of the time, they'll end up trying to replace themselves in the sales process, and then it messes up their whole business. Because when it comes down to delegation, I like to have a set SOP. I like to have a set process. I don't like to use people as a band-aid inside of my business. I like to use people as growth in my business, not to fix things that are broken. So if you have a broken sales process and you bring in a sales rep, your sales process is going to be broken still. You're not going to have a band-aid. So once you have proof of concept with your offer, like you've sold it before, you've been selling it, or maybe even if you had a competitor that's like damn near the same, that's already proof of concept, then you're good to replace yourself. And I'd say the first thing you replace yourself with is a closer. So they'll just come in, they start taking all your sales calls. You can replace yourself with a setter, like I was doing in the beginning. They're just setting up all the appointments. A closer, they're just closing the deals. And then eventually you can remove yourself from like the managerial roles of like client work and everything with like a client success manager, assistants. So, but the first thing you want to replace yourself with is that closer too as well.
With the closer to get off the sales calls. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so speak about a little bit on the journey on what do you think the difference is from taking a business from 0 to 10,000 a month, from 10,000 to 100,000 a month.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. So 0 to 10K. I kind of view it as like the getting yourself like a lot of it's mental, right? Like having the right mindset. That's usually like the biggest thing. And then information. So usually what stops people is either like a mindset belief, a character trait, or a skill set, right? But in the beginning, it's really all three, right? It's your mindset, character, and also beliefs, right? So when it comes down from 0 to 10K, for most business owners, it's really all three of those. But going from 10 to 100K, I would say from 10 to 50K is pretty much simple. It's like doubling what you did to get from 0 to 10K. That's all you got to do, right? 50 to 100K, depending on the business. A lot of times it's like leadership. So now instead of it just being you inside of your business, you being like a single LLC member, or maybe you just having a few virtual assistants. Once you're trying to go from 50 to 100K, it's all about leadership, because now you have people in your organization and you're almost like it's almost like being a parent. Having employees is like being a parent. Now you have people that you got to take care of. There's going to be ups and downs inside of the business. And, there's going to be a month maybe where you just don't hit the numbers. You don't end up paying yourself out nothing. But with you being the business owner, you're putting in the most work though. You're taking on all the risk. So now you're going to have team members you still got to pay, although you're not hitting those numbers. So it's true leadership, and also just simply like forgetting about yourself, making it all about your team members. What ends up happening though, a lot of people, they think that their employees work for them. I view that I work for my employees.
Yeah,
that's the biggest shift that I had.
I feel you. And now that's real though, because I built a team of 2,000. And it really just comes down to serving your whole group in a sense. And the more you serve them, the more, explosive growth that you have within the whole organization. Okay, so with all you can obviously tell, you got a host of knowledge from marketing, some of the most advanced marketing strategies, from sales, from leadership, from automations, from systems, building teams, delegating people in the right way. You want to speak on how that helped shape the company that you built now currently?
Yeah, 100%. So I truly believe everything happens for a reason. Right. I look back at all the trial and error that I've had. This is not the first business that I try to launch. The first one was like an e-commerce brand. I was trying to do some like drop shipping. That failed, but through that failure and experience, I learned a lot about paid ads, like Facebook ads and everything. If I think back to the last, the agency that I was working for, I learned about appointment setting. I learned about closing. I look back at when I was scaling up my girlfriend's credit repair business, right? We scaled that credit business up, like the mess out of it, right? What I learned with that is like all about the importance behind credit and business funding and leveraging your credit score and everything. So all these losses that I've had have all added up to this big win that we're currently having. So I would say that a lot of people, probably some people watching this right now, they've had a business, it failed before. You might be thinking, I don't even know if I want to even, I don't know if it's even possible. I hear all these people online talking about these numbers and, 6 figures in a month, like that's not even possible. The biggest thing is for you to even believe it. That's one of the biggest things. I didn't believe it until I saw it. And sometimes people, they only see people online. So if you're not even in the room right now, like it's cool to be on calls like this, but if you're not even in person or in the room or have someone in real life, not just like the internet, that's going to help you a whole lot more than just like being online, right? But as far as everything, is all those losses, like every failure is the reason why I have the business that I have right now.
Gotcha. And you want to speak a little bit about your business? What exactly it is that you guys do?
Yeah. So we really just help entrepreneurs generate more leads and book appointments for their high ticket offer. We work with a lot of those online gurus that you see, like those people that have coaching programs and courses and stuff like that on Instagram. Maybe it's an Airbnb offer, or maybe it's a fitness coaching offer. We just help them with their personal brands, generate more booked appointments, and then simply just close those deals, right? Um, Over the last 2 years, my team, we've done over $20 million for our clients, and I lead a team of about 19 right now over my growth agency called Social Closers.
Dope. Okay, one last thing. If you don't, because earlier you spoke a little bit on how by you investing in yourself early on, that helped like transcend you fast. So
Yeah,
like, what would you say to someone about like how important it is and just, and
yeah.
investing in yourself for your growth?
Investing in yourself. Yeah, that's the biggest. As soon as I stop investing in myself, that's still to this day when my business like ends up getting stuck, right? I've been at these 100 to 150K months for the last like 4 or 5 months. And I did slow down on investing into myself because, as ignorant as it sounds, I felt like I knew so much stuff and I still don't know a lot, right? And I still need to continue to invest into myself. But what ends up happening is, especially if someone's selling something high ticket and they never even bought anything high ticket before, then it's like, how are you selling something that you never even experienced the whole process around? But the first high ticket investment I purchased, it was a $40,000 coaching program that I joined, and it was terrible. It was
Hmm.
terrible, right? $40,000 down the drain. It was terrible. But what I told myself was, hey, and a lot of people, I'm like, hey, I got $1 million dreams. I got $10 million dreams. I got $1 billion dreams. Why am I going to let a $40,000 investment stop me from my $1 million dreams? Doesn't make sense. So that was a bad experience. But what ended up happening was I didn't let it stop me. I bought some more stuff. So now today I've spent over multiple, like well over $100,000, all these online courses, these programs. And I can say that, there was a lot of bad, but I started looking at it differently. So when I made that $40,000 investment, I was a little upset. I look back at it today, and it without it, I wouldn't have all the pieces today. So instead of buying something, buying these programs, buying a course, but investing into yourself, start looking at it as if like, hey, I'm going to get this information right here. It's all going to add up to a puzzle piece, right? It's all going to add up to a master puzzle. And you have to get each side of the piece and everything. And it doesn't always make sense. But then when you look back at it, it all makes sense. And you're like, okay, this is how I can leverage that information. So I have access to all this info right now. And I still go back to that $40,000 investment that I made. But at the time, it wasn't really useful. But now when I go back into that investment I made, that thing like makes me money like today. Like it helped to make an extra like $20,000 this week just from the information in there from 2, 3+ years ago. So I'm a big fan of investing in myself. And the moment that you're not investing in yourself, that's when things always tank for me or just stay stable, right? A lot of times it's not like a secret hack. People look for like a secret growth hack and all this stuff. They hear read, invest in yourself, surround yourself with the right people. It's really the basics. There's no secret hacks or anything, right? But a lot of people, the basics is hard. It's hard to get around like-minded people sometimes for people. If they're out in a state or a city where there's not many entrepreneurs and like-minded people. So there's people like you, Daryl, who provide an amazing community like this for those type of people too.
Absolutely. And also, yeah, what is your take on consistency? Because you was naming like some of the things that you need to like really grow. How important is staying consistent and also getting around the right people that accomplish what it is that you're looking to accomplish?
Yeah, consistency is everything. There's a book called The Compound Effect. Have you read that one?
I have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, that book's a game changer. Yeah, The Compound Effect. Like that book changed my life. Like consistency is everything. All this basic stuff, like I was telling you guys earlier, it's super basic, but it's hard to do over a long period of time. So what I like to do is, and I was telling Daryl this earlier, I'm not the biggest. I don't think super big, which is sometimes it could be a weakness. But instead of me worrying about this whole entire year, instead of me worrying about 3 years from now, I just worry about today, right? If I say, hey, if I knock out what I got to do today, it's going to take care of tomorrow. maybe not instantly, but over a period of time of me consistently winning every single day, it's going to eventually add up to that one big win, but you don't see it on the day to day. And usually, right before someone's going to have that big win, what ends up happening is they quit and they start trying to do something else and something new. So whenever you do start to feel down and like, you're going through that down period, and this is usually when everyone stops right here. As soon as everyone stops and we get rid of all the losers, and what ends up happening is everyone who sticks through it, they all have the win, right? It's called like the dip. So consistency is literally everything.
Yeah, that was game changing. Now, I actually read that book the same week you gave it to me, and I finished it. And it is a game changer. And every single day I make sure I try to do something to push my business forward. I'm reading it as well. So that's
Yeah.
definitely a game changer.
Yeah.
And also, I built a community here just mainly geared towards financial literacy, but you also have a community, towards entrepreneurs that's mainly geared towards higher ticket. You want to speak about some of the results people are having inside of your
Oh yeah.
community?
Oh yeah. Since we actually added the community piece, because it used to be, I used to have like the wrong mindset around this. Like, no, we work with a lot of high level entrepreneurs, these coaches, course creators. People don't really want to talk to each other and stuff like that. I was completely wrong. The moment that we added the community piece was when we really started to get the most results for our clients as well. Because when people see other people win, it even encourages them even more. But yeah, inside of our community, we got people like doing some large real estate deals, for example. We have people partnered up in the Dominican Republic, creating hotels together in our community. We have clients that literally started dating together. So our community is pretty fun. But we mainly just talk about marketing. We talk about sales, appointment setting, and just generating sales for like high ticket offers. Specifically, mainly like we work with mainly like coaches right now. Right. So like monetizing off of your expertise. A lot of times people, they don't even realize that they have all this knowledge and information, and we simply just help them craft out an offer. So what I like to say is people can only buy what there is to buy. So you might have someone that comes up to you and asks a lot of questions. You might be really knowledgeable about a topic, but you don't really have anything for someone to make a purchase. So the simplest win that we give people is just by creating an offer. And now you have an offer, like something to sell, people can make a purchase. So it's a little bit of our community.
Dope. Okay, so yeah, the offer that's always the start, right? If you don't have an offer, you obviously not going to make any sales. You want to speak a little bit about how to craft the offer in this economy as well, with everything that's going on?
Yeah. So one thing that we do is like we break it down into, this is mainly for like a coaching offer. Or even service-based businesses too as well, but we like to break down offers into 3 to 4 stages. And out of those 3 to 4 stages, we have 1 to 2 no-brainers, and then we have 1 to 2 unique selling mechanisms. And then we make one of those no-brainers or unique selling mechanisms into solving a future problem. So what a no-brainer is just like, for example, if someone's going to get, I'll go to like a car example, right? If someone's going to buy a car, right? The first thing they have to do is have, some decent personal credit, right? To get approved for the car. Then they need to go and drive and test out the car. Then they're going to purchase the car. Those are stages. Those are all no-brainers. What a unique selling mechanism could be is, hey, instead of it just being, hey, you're going to test drive the car, unique selling mechanism could be, 360 test system, where you just put on some goggles and you can test the car from your home. So we just come in, we restructure offers, we make them sound a little bit better and sexier, because when you do create an offer, you don't want it to sound like a commodity, right? You don't want it to sound like, something off the dollar menu. You go to McDonald's and you ask for a fry and it's $1, and you go down the street to another McDonald's and the fry is for $2. You're going to go back to the other McDonald's, right? You don't want your offer to sound like that. You want it to be premium where no one else can compare it on the marketplace. So with us working with a lot of coaches, one thing that's already premium is, people don't only just buy into their offers, but they also buy into the coach themselves. So whether if you're a coach, consultant, course creator, or service-based business, the easiest way to win right now in the marketplace is by having an irresistible offer, something that's more premium that people can't compare in the market. And if you're just starting off, like the easiest one that we had for offer creation, which is not even really a part of our offer, was just out carrying in the market, being the people that cared the most about their clients, and just showing that through our content creation and through our sales team whenever someone booked an appointment, like giving out the most value. A lot of times people are afraid to give out the most value for their offers. But I could talk about offer creation for like 5-7 hours. If anyone needs help with creating an offer, I have an exercise to put people through, but yeah.
That's dope. And I would imagine with all your background and your history with so many different industries, that helped you get like the right mindset on helping other people craft their offers, huh?
Yeah. And we have set niches that we do work with. We focus on more like ROI driven offers more than anything. But yeah, in the last year, we launched about 300-400 services and programs. So through all that trial and error, like I said, marketing is all about strategic testing. So with us testing something, let's just say you want to launch something and it's your first time launching it, chances are you've already launched that similar offer just like that, like 100 times, right? So it saves a lot of our clients time, money, efforts, trial and error.
Dope. I know you guys actually helped Landon. You know, Landon actually went live in his group and he actually got a lot of customers out of this community.
Wow.
So, you know, so it's pretty dope to see that you were actually the person to help him craft that offer. I think the reason he signed up so many customers because it was like unique and it was new and fresh.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
mind saying how you guys helped him come up with that?
Yeah. Landon, like, yeah, that's actually funny. Landon, well, first of all, Landon's a very hard guy to close, right? Very hard guy to close. It was a like 3-4 months follow-up. I was the one doing the follow-ups myself. He wasn't responding to my messages. I texted him like 6 times in a row, no responses. But when I'm doing follow-ups like that, for example, I know how amazing our stuff is. I know that, hey, if this guy actually moves forward and works with us, then I know the impact that I can have on inside of his business. And then that impact, since we work with a lot of coaches, consultants, and service providers, that impact is going to go impact other people, just like inside of your community, the ones that ended up working with Landon. So amazing guy. And it all did come down to his offer. I know right now he's not doing any coaching or anything, but he told me, he said he took the same strategies and principles and applied it to his other business. So like that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, the stuff that you end up learning from another business, everything adds up onto each other, right? All those losses, the L's that you take, you can learn from them and apply them to your next ventures.
Dope. Well, yeah, man. I know you super busy. I mean, it was a pleasure to have you on this long. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. Pretty sure everybody got a lot of value. If you want to just tell people on what they can do if they want to follow up with you or get more information about your program.
Yeah. So if you do have a course or a coaching program, or you have a service-based business that's high ticket, what I'll do is if you shot me a message on, I'll say on Instagram, that's like right. I'm not really crazy active on Facebook. So I'll drop it, or maybe you can drop it, Daryl, on my Instagram handle. But if you DM me the word social, I'll send you over my automatic student enrollment system. So it just shows you how to craft out an offer, how to generate more booked appointments, leveraging social media, and then simply how to close those deals into higher ticketed paying clients. So that's a free gift for your community, Daryl. You just got to send me the word social on Instagram and it will send to you.
Dope. So what I'll do is underneath this live, I'm looking at the live on my phone. I'll drop your handle in the comments section. So you guys will see his handle in the comments section and just shoot him over an IG message. And yeah, definitely grab that, help me take it to the next level, 100%.
I appreciate you having me on, Daryl. And I've been seeing what you've been up to as well with this whole community and everyone that you've been helping. So it's always good because like stuff like this literally changed my life. Like it literally changed my life. So I appreciate you, Daryl. And if anyone shoots me that message, I'll make sure to be on the lookout, and I'll take care of them too as well. So it's great speaking to everybody, and yeah, I'll catch everyone.
Dope. Appreciate you, man. Well, you have a great evening. And yeah, you guys tap in 100%.
All right, guys.
Yeah.